I guess I should open the stream.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of Night City Sofa. I am Jess, or Jesper, and I will be your host this evening as we chat about Danger Gal Dossier. And with me today, I have Blink, Hades, and Ada, who are going to help explore this fun new content. Thanks, guys, for being here with me.
Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Of course.
Very cool.
I'm glad I could make it this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions or comments, if you want to know more about what we're talking about, or you want to let us know your favorite NPCs from the book, feel free to post them in chat, and we'll do our best to answer those as soon as we can. I have a few windows open, so I'm sure one of them will let me know there's questions. It'll be great.
I can keep an eye out. I've got the chat up here.
Cool.
Me too.
So, see? They got this.
You got friends.
For those of you who don't know, Danger Gal Dossier is our Talsorian Games' newest sourcebook for Cyberpunk RED. It's an NPC and faction guide that also includes weapons, a full mission called The Incident, which we will not be covering during this session in case you're a GM who is going to run it or you're a player whose GM plans to run it. So it's there if you need a mission, but we're not talking about it today.
I feel like we could say, like, it is a mission you could kind of sandwich wherever you know, if you need a filler episode. I feel like
That's good. Okay. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Without giving any details about it, that's really
I think
good.
that's
Yeah.
that's
That's safe.
light enough anyway. Safe.
Yeah, that's safe. I know one of the things I really love most about this book is how it encourages you to always consider every NPC as a unique individual and not just some faceless entity that you throw at your players. And whether you're a player or a game master, you can use them. They encourage you to take, if you're a PC and you really jive with one of the characters, you can take them and make them your own and run a full life path with them. So really the options are limitless. Lastly, for the PDF version, I want to give a big shout out to Jay Gray for the countless time of hours he must have put into hyperlinking absolutely everything. I don't have the
Hyperlinks are
book.
nice.
I go through the PDF, and being able to like jump back and forth through everything is just wonderful. So
Yeah, it makes the PDF version more valuable in a way.
yeah.
At least at the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I find searching and moving through a PDF much quicker than with a book. Though I love my
Well,
books, don't get me wrong.
Eventually, although I'm laughing because I'm about to say something that doesn't happen to me at all. Eventually, you learn the book well enough that you just know where things are.
What?
That
You
has
do?
happened to you before in the past.
Yeah, when I had a memory. Not anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Now I'm too old.
I also find that I'm like, oh, I swear it's in this section. I'll just like skip past it both ways when I'm trying to look for the exact
Oh,
thing.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I spend like 5 minutes just no.
Anytime I try to find either roll skills or net running, it's like, where the fuck is this section?
Yep.
Nope. So yeah, so thank you, Jay, for all your hard work and hyperlinking it and making our lives that much easier. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you dearly.
We do.
All you folks at Artel are just great.
Yes. And everyone
Yeah.
who worked on this, because there was a lot of writers.
Yeah,
that,
there's a lot of writers, yeah.
Yeah, collaborated to put this wonderful book together. So thank you all for all your hard work and dedication.
Indeed.
I'm going to pass it off to Ada to talk about the first thing that appears in the book.
Oh boy. I might have accidentally forgotten to read this part.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so Danger Gal Dossier adds a few new terms. Oh, I thought this was at the end. Never mind.
You're good.
Just so that you can see things a little more condensed, mostly. And so most are pretty self-explanatory, but we want to touch on one that is the T-up, which is the tech up. And if you see capital T, capital U, lowercase p marked anywhere in the Danger Gal, or any DLC really, it stands for a tech upgrade item, which means that, it may have changed the SP or the damage or some other things. It's sort of detailed in parentheses. So that helps, but also you may want to check the glossary and check the terms on page 7 before going to the NPC stats, just so you're up to date.
So you're not looking at some sort of abbreviation going, what the fuck does this mean?
Or if you are, then you know glossary is on page 7.
There you go.
There you go. Told to you here.
So from that, we go into factions, which I believe goes to Hades. Or back to Jess.
Like,
Blank.
Me?
Oh, damn.
yeah.
Like, seriously, I totally fucked that up. All right.
I'm purple.
It
So
looks
close.
blue on my screen.
So Danger Gal Dossier doesn't cover every faction in NC, unfortunately, because I'm desperately wanting to know about so many more. But it does cover in great detail, in good detail, 15 of them. Before delving into the NPCs of each faction, each one has a single page outlining how Danger Gal got the information that they have, kind of where they came from, their background, the base of operations, any recent developments, resources, and goals. It's kind of useful to know where it's always useful to know where a gang came from. But also how and where to use them in your games. I found myself worried a lot thinking when I'm introducing some of the NPC factions that I have in my game, namely Tiger Claw and Maelstrom are the major 2 players in my game that are actually canon. I do a lot of homebrew. Anyway, and I was worried that I may have messed up where some of them are. I was kind of taking like the information I knew about 2020 and then taking the information I knew about 2077 and then kind of like what they briefly said in the core rulebook about them in 2045 or in Red, and trying to figure out, okay, well, where are they now? Because it doesn't really say. So I may have, gotten some things wrong, but that's okay. It's my world. And it's your world too, but this will help. So, very cool. Next, let's talk about, in the Danger Gal Dossier, there is kind of a section dedicated to crafting your own NPCs, because the guidelines in the core rulebook were kind of lacking, honestly. This book covers 100 different, just stat blocks for different characters, but we're not going to talk about them all. We're going to showcase a few of them. And later, we're going to talk about how to make your own, given the guidelines that are in the book. But let's start with talking about, looks like the Bozos are up first. One of my favorite prankster gangs, although my heart typically goes out to the Philharmonic Vampires. But
Who are sadly not covered in this book.
Bozos are a close second, yeah. Although I guess I don't know many other prankster gangs. I get the Dead Kennedys. That's a good one. I think they're in there. Anyway, so the Dead Ringers. This is actually 2 different NPCs. They are twin female clowns that are part of the Bozos. Both are doll-like in appearance, making it like a creepy fucking Stitch doll, like the girl from Nightmare Before Christmas. What's her name?
Sally.
Sally, like Sally. They're creepy dolls like her. And hard to tell apart, and not with the heart of gold that she has either. They're hard to tell apart except by the color of their hair and their personalities. The blue-haired one is the way they're named in the book, kind of. Is generally the louder of the two. She's always telling jokes, trying to get attention by juggling poison grenades while in a firefight, or running around the battlefield giggling. She's also a massive arsonist and loves to set things on fire. Poison appears to be her thing as well because she laces her scratchers with poison. On the contrast, the pink-haired one is kind of eerily silent. The kind of clown you would absolutely not like to meet in a dark alley, but really, which one is? She sometimes giggles, but she mostly remains silent. She's a pickpocket, using that silence, and kind of introverted demeanor I get about her, sneaking around, stealing stuff. And sometimes she steals the guns of her victims and then hands them off to her companions so her companion can then shoot them with their own gun. Because bozos like jokes. And these are the kind of jokes that they like. Evil, terrible ones. There's no info on these two pre-bozo, which means they've always been a bozo. Some say that they look like Blammo himself, the old bozo leader, but it's a touchy subject and best left unasked. And with that, I will pass it on to Hades, who will talk about the Danger Gal Puma Squad.
Well, at least one member.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about. Let's talk about Link. If you open the book and you see that it's always got a nice picture there. It gives you their name and then a little flavor text, and I really liked her. That's what drew me to her. And she enjoys shooting people. So I thought that was great. Who doesn't as a good solo? I mean, what are you going to do? So a little bit of with this, you get a little bit of backstory. Grew up in a highly abusive environment. Their mother was able to escape with the children to their grandma, but unfortunately, grandma was under the strict doctrine of the Inquisitors, and so there was a very highly regimented thing, and they were forbidden to interact with any other children. And then she has a sister named Jack, and the big sister came out as lesbian and was cast out, and they found an apprenticeship with none other than Aaron Mallour, which I believe is a weaponsmith.
Probably detailed in the book also.
Yes. Then they had a little happier times following Grandma's arrest on terrorism charges, and was adopted by an NCPD police officer who was working the case. She tried following in their footsteps, but with very ambitious zeal, and Danger Gal noticed her because she applied for the position of city executioner. I thought that was fun flavor there, and was rejected from that as she was young and inexperienced, and joined up with Danger Gal because there was willing to help her advance up the ladder, and without years spending walking the beat. She gets her firearms from her older sister Jack, who is Night City's newest weapon, Wunderkind Workshop, Basil's Custom. And she's, pretty uses a shotgun and a pistol, and wears cat ears, like I believe all of the Danger Gal Kuma squad do. And she's one of their solos, and a ranked lieutenant.
I remember reading hers, and I did not know that there was an executioner like as a job in Night City until that point. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, capital punishment is definitely a thing.
Yeah, I did not realize that either. I didn't know that was a thing.
Especially since
City.
it's California. That's
right.
Pretty,
yeah.
But Night City is kind of its own free city, right?
Well, California in general is a free state, but yeah. But Night City in particular is independent.
Yeah, so with that, I will pass it on to Jess to talk about the Digital Divas NPC.
I'm going to talk to you guys about Firewall, who is actually not a band member that belongs to the Digital Divas. Firewall is a lieutenant level netrunner whose fame and reputation comes from a largely exaggerated story about their clash with the rogue AI. The story has somehow morphed into forgetting that Firewall was the one who created the rogue AI, who went rogue because he fed him corporate propaganda, and he just panic killed it with a virus before Netwatch could attack. But now it's just this awesome, he was an awesome artist who took down this rogue AI, and it's epic. It's an epic battle, if you ask anyone in the city. And it was shortly after that, though, that Firewall began working for the Digital Divas because they needed a job, and they answered a help wanted ad by Sizzle Jams, the band manager. So, loyalty.
Sizzle Jams?
Sizzle Jams, yeah. Sizzle Jams is the band manager.
Nice.
He's now I should say that they are the show technician. They run sound, lights, and other effects. And what I like for that means in your game is that they're not necessarily loyal to the divas, so they could take work on the side if your crew needs a solid netrunner. They know their way around Japantown, which I found out by looking at their local expert skill. And they may be found in short circuit when not working on a diva show, so that's an excellent way to find them if you need to put them in your game. That is Firewall, and I thought they were really cool. I'm going to pass it on to Ada to talk about a member of the Edgerunner crew.
Oh, being an old school anime nerd, I had to pick this guy because, Tetsuo. And I love his flavor text because it just says, great with a knife. But if you're down in Pacifica Playground and are interested in sushi, you can go to a restaurant. And at that restaurant is a celebrity chef who doesn't often appear, but apparently is very solemn and nods at people. His name is Ryu Sakai. The thing is, Ryu Sakai is a brand new name. There's no history of him that wasn't inserted before or at the time that the restaurant was founded. He just happened to appear at the same time that Tetsuo disappeared. Tetsuo was he was a major name in the Japanese edgerunner scene that scored a big thing from the Yakuza, and then, rightfully disappeared because you don't want the Yakuza after you. So, now we have a restaurant, we have a chef who is probably a very talented edgerunner. That means that if you need someone to go to either defend against the Yakuza or go up against the Yakuza with you, he's not a bad one to pull it. And now I believe Hades will tell you about a different edgerunner.
Real quick, it would be just like you guys to befriend the chef at a restaurant.
So would.
Well,
yes, it
100%.
absolutely would.
Yeah.
Though, doesn't he work at a high-end restaurant? Isn't that like
Yeah,
above
you guys
our
would
pay
go to that
grade?
Fancy restaurant.
Is that the one at the top of the Star Mall?
It's in Pacifica.
No, it's in Pacifica. So
It's in the playground.
in a much nicer area.
Much nicer.
Which means it's a very, very nice restaurant. But I could still see us doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, awesome. I'd like to talk about another edge runner, 24/7, or as sometimes shortened to Twofer. I think he's a really great NPC because he's so versatile. He's a media who, like Moxie, in some ways is very, what's the right word here? Always goes after the truth, very hardcore about it, and
Relentless.
that's relentless, right? And wants to. They don't care about the corporate BS. They just want to have he's a true idealist, I guess would be the right way to say that, and doesn't care. So he it's just a one-man crew. You might think he's huge, but he does the journalism, the anchoring, the researching, the camera and sound all together. So it's really neat. Just one dude, and he writes up dossiers about everything he goes. Once he's on the trail, he sees it to the end. Does that
Nice.
sound like somebody else? No, just kidding.
No, I really liked him. I'm so glad you talked about him.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool because he can fit into almost any story as being somebody who needs help, or as you guys are going to the same target, or you guys are after the same. So he can fit into so much of the running, and is a very versatile NPC for you to have. And I just think that's great. He can get information for you, access, protection. I mean, it's really what a media, I think, what they really wanted a media to be.
Yeah.
When they made the game, and I thought that was really neat. He's also, he also knows the upper marina really well, and he's pretty stealthy, even for wearing all that stuff. Has the camera rolling.
Nice.
Yeah, and so
He's totally
I think you passed to
someone
yourself.
Moxie
I think
would
I'm
work
passing
with.
to myself.
He's somebody Moxie would work with.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And I
Could see
actually
that.
I actually have one other NPC to talk about, and that is part of the children's gang that is in the book, and Generation Red, and they have a clubhouse that they all hang out at. I think that's great, and the one I want to talk about is High Stick, and High Stick I thought was really unique. It's street hockey meets street poetry.
Nice.
Yeah. Her parents died 6 years ago, but she was already living with extended family. Lives in the South Cargo village. She spends time with her clan and will run home there if needed, but mostly she just takes own room at the clubhouse and to store their collection of stuffed animals. Excellent street hockey player. She checks opponents twice her size, and so she's not afraid of anything. She's won awards with her poetry, and even the person doing, as in the dossier, writing this file, even they see they have talent in that.
Nice.
So I thought that was neat. Usually you'll see her, Wheelie, and Shredder, which is their whole part of the club, hanging out, wanting to encourage Blades to do tricks and stuff for them to see.
Very nice.
And as you can see with their little profile here, they have, I believe that they're, it doesn't give an actual age, but it's like they're pretty young. Like all their stats are 4 or 5 and less. So it's like they're going to grow up.
Gotcha.
And then, so you would probably want to do something with that. But they're, they have good brawling, and they know a bit about the old combat zone in South Night City. And with that, I would like to pass it off to Jess for Blades.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Blades, who happens to be the oldest member of Generation Red, which is the name of their yo gang. She is actually skating on the edge of adulthood. Get it? Skating? Huh? Thank you. Thank you.
The puns today.
You're welcome. If you need anything salvaged from the old combat zone, Blades is the fixer that can most likely get you what you need. She's lived on the street since she was young, fighting for survival and the gang itself, most notably succeeding at both, which has got her a lot of attention. She does have connections to Tigress of Danger Gal's Puma Squad, who's been encouraging Blades to use her influence to get Generation Red to work for the Corp. Now, you may think that Danger Gal funding the replacement of Blades' cyber legs and cyber legs to upgradable ones with skate feet as a generous donation, but I know a bribe when I see one, and thankfully, Apex doesn't trust Danger Gal either. So Blades she lost both her legs and one of her eyes fighting off scavengers who were trying to take over the building. She got medical grade ones, and then Danger Gal saw her potential and they upgraded her legs. And so Blades has been fascinated with Danger Gal ever since, but there might be a little rivalry there because the leader Apex does not trust any adult whatsoever, for reasons you can find in the book. I do want to note that, and Artal has this wonderful warning label on it, to use caution when putting kids in your games.
You don't see a lot of kids in my game. Yeah.
Yeah, there are reasons for that. So talk to your players before you do. I do think it would be neat, depending on when your game is set to, if you could use the characters as your PC character or see them a few years down the road. Because like Katie said, I picture most of these guys to be 10 or 11, where Blades is probably 16, 17, almost there. So what happens in 5 years' time? Where are they? Or 10 years? What happened to Generation Red? Are they still together? Did they move on? I think it would be really cool.
Quick note, the person on the stream hasn't changed.
Oh, sorry. Guys, there's firewall. I'm doing too much at once. This is my problem. I do this, I plan it, and I'm I'm going to put pictures, and then I forget to change them. So that's firewall from the Digidivas. There's our chef that we're going to befriend one day when we have money.
Yeah.
There's our chef.
Nice.
24/7. I like that he actually carries a honkin' video camera that Moxie has never seen
huge.
with whatsoever.
I figured she'd get a a cyber eye at some point, but
no, she was actually going to use the smart glasses and get a video camera in those. It's a plan. When I have money, more money, always the way.
Money.
And there you have
that's what this
Blades.
game's loop is about.
I know, right? So now that we've caught up in the pictures that I completely forgot to change, so sorry.
Does that catch us up?
I'm gonna pass this over to Blake to talk about this crazy guy.
Ghoul. Yeah. Ghoul is an example of a new Maelstrom gang member. Let's see. I think it might be good to start with kind of a little bit about where Maelstrom's at. They were kind of torn apart during the Fourth Corporate War. They had their headquarters, the Torrentants, kind of destroyed. Torrentants was their secondary hideout. But anyway, so they're kind of just in this position of rebuilding. And one of the things that they're doing to rebuild is scouring the hot zone for, you guessed it, cybernetics. So I don't know if you guessed that, but if you know Maelstrom, you should probably have guessed it. But anyway, so Ghoul is one such hot zone scavenger for Maelstrom. Now, the scavengers in the hot zone in particular are kind of the lowest rung of Maelstrom. So he started as this scavenger named Digger, and after surviving radiation, 2 tunnel collapses, and nanoswarm poisoning, he managed to dig up a pile of sweet Kuroshi optics and caught his boss's attention. Ripper, his boss, began to hold him to more and gave Ghoul some tests. But Ghoul is a survivor. You can imagine that these tests are akin to something a Maelstrom ganger would give. For instance, the first test was to eat only what he found in the hot zone by himself. So, no buying food, just scabbing whatever's out there. So, after he ate some weird irradiated monster that he found, that earned him his nickname, Ghoul. Oh, we lost somebody.
It's coming back.
It's coming back. It's in the wrong place.
No.
Oh, no, you're right.
Picture's just catching up.
Oh, it's in the wrong place for me because I'm looking at a different one. Anyway. So he ate some weird irradiated monster, earned himself the nickname Ghoul. The second test was to give him, well, I don't know if it was the second one, but one of the tests was to give him a carbon crystal knife. Only that knife was superheated by a blowtorch before he handed it over. So when Ghoul took it, he immediately dropped it. And Riptor tells him, I give you a gift and you drop it. Fish it out. No tools, just your hand. So after screaming immensely, profusely, and after 2 tries, Ghoul got promoted, as well as a new cybernetic arm and hand. And he kept the knife. A lot of new Maelstrummers kind of are messed up like this, both ruined by the world and the gang itself, which is why they're so fucking insane and violent. And that is a great example as to what you could do if your players are trying to join Maelstrom. Anyway, with that, I will go on to the next NPC I have to talk about, which is my favorite. And I had to give some love to the NCPD, which is one of the factions covered in this book, and it's awesome that they are. This is Gustav, the good dog line of the Custom Security Canine by Biotechnica. Uh-oh, looks like we're having some video troubles here.
We are. We apologize.
Sorry about that, folks. We are figuring it out. Sounds like some Fallout shit. It totally does. Gustav is...
Best boy.
Yeah. Good dog. So... When biological security and utility programs were inferior pre-war due to Arctic robotics and Lawtech Unlimited, Bio pushed harder for this division. One of Biotechnica's greatest successes was the revamp of the digital watchdog. From Nicolo Logagia, dude, I probably butchered that name. From his vision of a less cybernetic world, the CSC was designed from a genetic level up and customized for its purpose with a little bit of cybernetic enhancements. There are many models designed for all sorts of tasks, from patrol routes to crowd control. Gustav walks the beat with his partner, Elena Korda, who is also outloaned to the book, and has outfitted him with augmented olfactory and genetic enhancements, an internal agent and micro video camera to ensure that only his partner can order and track him no matter how far apart they are. In order to keep the doggo safe, Korda has also outfitted Gustav with the latest in canine bodywear. And that is all I have to talk about Gustav, the good dog.
So good. You know what?
I had to cover the dog.
I really liked Escobar, and I was like, no, Gustav. Definitely Gustav.
Gotta be Gustav.
Gotta be Gustav. But Escobar's really cool because he's an Interpol agent. If you guys get a chance to look at the NCPD, he's an Interpol agent.
Yes.
So he has ties to places outside of Night City, and I like how that can lead to remembering that the world is much bigger than just the city itself.
And just to talk up the book some more, the whole section with the NC Precinct 1, even though it's only one precinct, it kind of gives you an idea of how other precincts were or should be. And that information is invaluable to, making your city run, because there is a police force. It's largely corrupt, but there is one. And sometimes it's not corrupt.
Less corrupt.
Well, more fueled by whatever the officer's own personal agenda is. Are we waiting till we fix?
I don't know. The application crashed, so I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
Because thankfully, oh no,
because they're
be out for a bit.
I'm about to pass to Ada, whose face is in twain.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't have any more to talk about here, otherwise, or I'd do some filler.
I know. And I'd move the camera around, but the minute it gets rejoined, I'm not going to be able to.
Why don't you put Ada in my place and I'll go quiet.
Okay. We'll just move. Oh. No, that's going to break everything. It'll be fine.
Please.
I'm just going to break everything, guys, okay? It'll be fine for a bit.
Yep.
There you go. I'm just going to break everything, guys, okay? Ish.
Ish.
Okay. That works.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about a fun place, or a fun gang. Only one person, but everyone knows that you like every edge runner ends up partying at some point. We've done it many times. And in order to party, you need drugs, which is where the piranhas come in. You go to the piranhas and they sell drugs. But they're also sort of like the party place, or the party gang, and they're always down for that kind of thing. And because of that, they're always moving where they're located and holding parties in different places. And their leader, I think, is fascinating. Her name is Corpse Reviver. There is almost no information about her and her past or how she came to be, and she's probably pretty damn young. Like, I wouldn't put her much older than early 20s. But what we do know...
Hey.
Okay.
We spend time moving everybody around again.
Okay.
Yay.
What we do know is she probably came out of the combat zone. The thing about Corpse Survivor is the piranhas were almost dead. And she came in, took over, and basically swept up all of these on their last legs gangs and made them one. So she's got a lot under her belt, but she's really good at it, is the thing. She's good at talking. She's a good accountant, which makes sense for, her position and stuff like that. She's got people who are loyal to her, and everything runs really smooth for her on a regular basis. The really interesting thing about her is this girl is decked in cyberware. Like, some of it is very small, some of it is quite large. She has both Midnight Lady and Mr. Stud, which is just...
Oh my.
I know, right? And then, there's a little bit of cosmetic, but almost all of it, there's a lot in there, and almost all of it is something she'd be using regularly. So, that's all really cool, but it means that if you and your team are going on any kind of drug run, you can come into conflict with them, you can work for them, yeah, you can even befriend them, because that's exactly what we do.
Would we?
Well, it depends on whether it was Wraith or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, I was like, would we just steal like their formula for Piranha Smash and try to make our own profit?
Oh, that would be
I
a
don't
very
know.
bad idea, I think.
I mean,
Slowly
we
become
don't...
enemies, like on accident.
That is very
That's
typical,
possible.
but we don't actually usually do things like that, do we? Like make Smash?
No. But you
No.
know what? That
Yeah.
doesn't stop us from being like, hey, we make this, and us being like, really? Maybe we should
Yeah.
do that too.
Just for some extra eddies.
No.
And Jess, it's all yours.
Sure. I'm going to talk about a member of Team Monster, which is an edge running crew, who goes by the name of Lucky, or handle, Lucky. He's rank 5 medtech with a tech upgraded medium armor jack that makes it less restrictive. So it lowers your penalty from a -2 to a -1, which is super nice, especially when one of those penalties is to your reflexes. Lucky worked, his has got a lot of backstory, which I really like. He started working as part of a salvage crew until it fell apart, and then he got employed by Trauma Team, and that's where he really picked up all of his medtech abilities. But he hated the 9-to-5 job restrictions, so he was like, screw this, I'm gonna go work freelance. So he let a bunch of fixers know about his services, and his rep went, like, I think he's got a rep 3 or 4? I don't have his page open, so I can't check. But it's fairly decent, as he's like known as an edge runner who can get his crew in and out of sticky situations and keep them alive even when they're on death's door. So after he got this rep, he did one job with Team Monster, who does crazy, like the bigger, more dangerous the job, those are the ones Team Monster takes. They are notoriously known for taking the jobs where most people be like, ooh, that's really dangerous, you shouldn't do that, you should get out alive, and then be like, nah, this will make for an epic story, let's go. So those are the jobs Team Monster takes, and it comes with really good pay, so Lucky decided he'd stick around, and Team Monster decided it couldn't hurt to have some luck on their side, and he's been part of the team ever since. You can find him hanging out in the Forlorn Hope, which is one of the bars in Night City, and I believe there's going to be a mission surrounding that in the next Talsorian book coming out.
Yeah, it should be a mission book based around the Forlorn Hope.
Which is really cool. So you might get to see Lucky and other members of Team Monster. So there you go.
Nice.
And Ada, back to you.
I'm doing our last NPC. So for this one, I have picked Tearjerker. Tearjerker to me is fascinating because she is specifically designed to help people. She is a volunteer she's captain of a volunteer fire department, which she founded with her partner, 40 Mike, which is also in the book if you care to look. And she recruits civilians, gangers, everyone, and basically trains them to firefight. This is like, I don't know, I find her really cool because not only is she a volunteer firefighter, she is also a veteran of the Fourth Corporate War. When she worked for Petrochem, she was MP for them, which is like pretty awesome. But she was on the job when she found out that Sova oil combat units set fire to one of Petrochem's oil wells, and basically that blew everything up.
Oh my.
So she's on the zoners, and she's part of their leadership, and she's always advocating for peaceful movement for their goal. She knows it's not always going to happen, and she puts the mission first. And primarily, this is my favorite part, during the last protest, the NCPD showed up and started firing on the protesters. And she, when she realized they were firing, switched her ammo from her tear gas to armor-piercing rounds and started firing on the NCPD. And she killed 2 of them because she was defending the protesters. So This is like one of those Hail Marys in a game. If you really need a rescue, this is the kind of person you need. And that is it for our details on NPCs. So Blake is going to now tell you how to make your own.
I will say, before we get into that, sorry.
Go ahead.
There's so many great NPCs. Like, we touched on a handful of them, but there's so many good ones. I love Knock Knock from 6th Street. We didn't get to talk about 6th Street. Also, if you're looking for a rocker boy that's not an artist, I so badly almost talked about Mr. Stud, who is a member of the Zoners as well. He's a porn star artist.
Nice.
Yep, he has a tech upgrade in Mr. Stud.
Oh, is that
There's nothing in parentheses after that to tell you what it does. But if you read his bio, you can figure it out.
It's always kind of been vague about what the Mr. Stud does, and I like that about it.
Yeah.
No, but I like Knock Knock from 6th Street will go out of his way on a mission to make sure civilians are safe, which is like a rare thing to see.
Mm-hmm.
So check them out; they're good peeps.
So I guess I will talk. I mentioned before that they're in the Danger Gal Dossier. There are NPC creation guidelines, and to quote Captain Barbosa, these are more of what you'd call guidelines, not rules. I probably misquoted that, but either way, there you go.
You said it, but it's okay.
Anyway, so we begin with getting a kind of level for your NPC. These are kind of described in the core book. You have the Mook, who's a bottom rung thug, a roll rank of 2, if any. They provide you some ideas for how to balance encounters, and so the number of mooks equals the crew size that you expect to win. So basically, 1 mook versus 1 edge runner, and the edge runners will win that combat, probably, unless something goes horribly wrong, which it often does. Anyway, so lieutenants are the next rank, and their role is kind of equal or slightly greater than an average netrunner. The role rank is about 4 or less. And their guideline to encounter balancing is 1 lieutenant for 2 edge runners. Then you have mini bosses, who are the best opposition without the main antagonist. They are substantially more powerful than edge runners. They always have a roll rank. 1 mini boss versus 3 edge runners is their guideline. And then you have, of course, bosses, the ultimate bad guys. They can take an entire edge running crew themselves, or with a small cater of mooks or even lieutenants. It does suggest that you use bosses sparingly, which makes sense. In addition to that, they kind of detail more about hardening, or at least cover it. Not recover. That's not. They cover it again. They had a DLC with hardening in it, but they cover it again. But anyway, hardening is a tool that is used when your crew is kind of powerful. In order to have a hardened edge runner crew, more than half of the characters must be hardened for the crew to count as hardened. A character counts as hardened if they meet the following: a reflexes of 8 with evasion of 6, an attack roll modified by cybernetics or weapon attachments or that kind of thing of 15 or higher. A body plus willpower is 16 or higher. They have a weapon of luxury or higher. They have a dex and move score of at least 8. Their auto fire or martial arts skills are 6 or higher. Their solo rank is 4 or higher, which is a beginning character for solo. So if they meet any of those following criteria, any one, they count as hardened, and you can start throwing hardened crew against them. My Discord is going nuts. Hold on.
Jeez.
It's okay. So that's kind of like using that hardening tool. Now they do actually have, the steps to make NPCs in a fairly quick way. They provide you some kind of templates for each of those levels. And then they say, follow these. This is a 6-step program. The first step is to conceptualize your NPC. It could be like a low-level member of a booster gang, or a former corpo exec who is using the team's media to further an agenda. Something like that. Step 2 is to decide on the NPC level. Mook, lieutenant, mini-boss, boss. Are they hardened or not? Mini-bosses and bosses should be reserved for special challenges or fully optimized crews. Then there's step 3. Give your NPC 4 levels in a native language and 2 in the base skills, the same ones that you get it as a player character. I won't go over those. They're in the main book. Specify that language and local expert for flavor and story. Step 4 is to assign NPC stats and skill points based on a budget for the appropriate template. So if you're a Mook, you have I don't remember how many points off the top of my head, and Jay Gray will kill me if I don't say it. So okay, he probably won't kill me. But anyway, for instance, if it's a Mook, the template on page 152, the Danger Gal Dossier, has 33 stat points and 30 skill points. It gives you some maxes and stuff in there as well. Oh crap, where was I? Oh yeah, and then calculate the derived stats. Keep in mind suggestions involving 8 hit points, stopping power, max stats, combat and non-combat skill-based ranges while you're assigning those points. Levels assigned in step 3, meaning the ones you get for free, do not count for that budget. But even though you get the 2 for free in the common skills, if you wanted to raise that to a 3, like for athletics or something, you still need to buy the other 2 points from the budget pool. So you get those for free, kind of, but if you wanted to raise them, you'd still spend to raise it to the whatever level you wanted. No stat should be lower than 2, other than empathy, or higher than 8, other than body with the use of cyberware. NPCs also rarely possess luck, so that's something to keep in mind. Step 5. Outfit your NPC by spending your gear and cyberware budget. Something to keep in mind is you don't need to spend the whole budget. Like, don't just give them stuff just because you have money. And furthermore, go and spend a little extra for a signature piece of gear if it makes sense. Like a rocker boy needs a fucking awesome Gibson guitar or something. Stuff like that. If you need, drop NPC's empathy down by 1 for every 5 pieces of cyberware. Mooks and lieutenants have suggested restrictions regarding weapons, but ignore those if it makes sense for the character. Give them what they would have, basically, is what this is saying. Step 6 is adding any extra tweaks that you need to make that NPC yours. Lower skills, raise them. Like, it's not going to affect a whole lot if I give them 6 points in wardrobe and style for free, or something like that. So just think about those kinds of details. And that is the end of the character or NPC creation process. And I'm glad to have walked through it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Am I passing this on to somebody?
Yes, I am happy to make that.
Okay. Because chat isn't on screen, Patient Zero said grappling hook guitar, I believe, in response to your custom item. To which I was like, oh my god, yes, Deeps can use it. Checkers, can you make it, please?
Jenny has a rocket guitar.
She does.
Which is pretty cool.
Well. I will read the next. We apologize. Hades apologizes. His computer is being temperamental right now.
Okay.
So we're hoping he makes it back. In the meantime,
Sure.
I think I've ninja edited. Ada's image might get wonky. I apologize now. I think at the moment it's okay.
It's just how things are around here.
Yep. So that's Danger Gal Dossier. We're going to do a real quick look at Danger Gal Dossier Plus, which is the DLC that you can go and download at our TalsorianGames.com/downloads. You can find all their free DLCs. It can be used with the source book, or you can use it in a campaign that doesn't include any of these gangs, just reskin the content within. And now, where Danger Gal Dossier gave you a bunch of NPCs to add to your world, the DLC gives you a ton of plot hooks to help put these characters into the game. The hooks can be used as side quests, part of a larger mission, or joined together as a few have great synergy. Or even just using them as background information to keep the feeling of a living, breathing world. Maybe the news is reporting on it, or some tunes are talking about it in a bar. There's no limit how you can use the information in the book.
Ooh, we might have got Hades back.
Did we get a Hades back at the right time? We did. I have to fix things. Someone vamp because it's Hades' turn to talk and I have to edit.
So we're going to talk about some of these plot hooks and how you can add them to your game or tweak them a little bit to fit. I'll start by talking about the block party. This is a fun one, and I'll read it out here. NCPD has been ordered to move a group of reclaimers out of a ruined block claimed by Zarafa for gentrification. The reclaimers asked the team for help, saying they've got a municipal grant to renovate the site. So this could be a good mission if you want to provide your players some interesting, I think, moral quandaries. Like you could change the company from Zarafa to Biotechnica and make that plot is going to be a new hospital. That could be interesting. Or perhaps the company could offer them a better payment if they expedite the movement, which could also be fun and totally cyberpunk. And that's something that I would do. Absolutely. So yeah, that's a cool plot hook, and just one of many, which we'll detail some more now. I think we'll pass it on back to Hades for data merge. Uh-oh, we don't have audio. We have an uh-oh.
We do.
Oh dear.
Okay, we'll pass it on to Jess.
We'll see if there's can you quick fix it? Is it just accidentally muted or something? Picked up the wrong mic?
I hear the weird part. I think I hear is clicking, unless somebody else is clicking.
Might be me.
No, we can't hear you. That looked like he figured it out, though. Maybe.
Okay.
Slowly. Oh, right, I can't do that. I can't. Keep my things is weird. All right, well, Hades figures that out. I will go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there
yes!
we go. Wow.
Hey!
Nice.
There we go.
Okay, data merge, buddy. You're up.
All right. Sweet. Dang it. The stupid computer stuff. All right, so the data merge is it's kind of like Danger Gal might want to acquire some data and media files from accumulated by edge runners, other edge runners like Crasher or Crab Lord, and they might be potentially good stuff in there. So they hire the characters to go in between, make an initial offer, steal the files if the answer is a no. So you can go many different directions with that. Also, word may get out, and other parties may try to get the information and try to sell it for more, or anything. So you can really play with that and make multiple potential buyers. You could fake the theft. Somebody could try to fake things. You can go all over the place with that. And as you know, with net running being such an important part of the game, I think you could really take that everywhere.
Very cool.
I'm going to talk to you about the plot hook, Deliver with Tiger Eats. If you need some quick cash, Tiger Claws may be able to help. Tiger Eats, I feel like this should definitely be an app, like some super secret app you can download. Delivers meals and likely something else from contracted eateries to designated locations. And I love this plot hook because it gives you such an easy way to get your players to move about the city, meet NPCs, and make the world feel alive while causing a growing amount of tension. Because how long until they get caught with something illegal? How long until they're attacked for the goods that they have? Have them make an ethical choice about what they're delivering or who they're delivering to. And if you work enough and prove yourself enough, maybe you get more lucrative deliveries. And then what happens if you see something you shouldn't? Or learn which exec is linked to this gang? Good rep isn't always a good thing. And I feel there's so many things you can do with this simple plot hook of delivering food, and I'm so for it. So make Tiger Eats a thing in your game, guys, please, and let me know how it goes.
I like it.
Yeah. I would absolutely play that game.
Right? Hades, I believe you have the next... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, boy.
No, I was going to ask you who wants to go next.
I'm going to let Hades go next in case his computer decides to keep being rude.
Yeah, good plan. Although, to be fair, I updated it, rebooted it, updated it, and reinstalled Zoom.
Oh, wow.
So,
hopefully we're good.
Hopefully that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you know where your kid is? It's kind of like has to do with Generation Red, and I think it could really go a lot of places, depending on how you want to play. Like the clubhouse, if you think about it, this game doesn't have a lot of adult supervision. I mean, the closest thing we have is kind of like Moxie and Wraith watching, us as they're kind of in charge, but they really don't.
So true.
but I mean, they really don't pay that much attention. So
true.
You mean really just Moxie?
Yeah, I know.
And even then, does she?
Well,
she's like the
bit.
neglective parent.
A little tiny bit.
But,
I don't care what you did as long as you're here when you're supposed to be.
Yes, exactly. No, exactly.
I don't care what you did as long as you're here.
But yeah, it's kind of like they're, do you know where your kid is? I mean, you could take that as my kid's gone missing in the old combat zone, or is spending a lot of time over there. Why are they doing that? Can you please go find out? You can do a lot of hooks with that, I
think so.
100%.
Very cool.
And with that, we'll pass it on back to Blank.
Hello again. So I'm going to talk about the Escape from Night City because I liked Escape from LA. Anyway, so the job is Fiona wants to publicly fake her death after becoming. Yeah, I said that wrong. Becoming disillusioned with the network. She knows that Net 54 will not want their schemes ruined and has hired the crew to help her escape the city. Of course, Net 54 might pay even more if they bring her to them instead. So There are some awesome opportunities for killer car chases in this kind of plot hook, or maybe some really intense stealth scenes, or even a good opportunity for some really decent RP as the players get to know the NPC that they're trying to rescue or save or whatever. A cool twist could be that at the end, the contact she's arranged to have you meet have already been paid off to bring her back to them, to Net 54 instead, like it kind of hints at before. And the team can like have a moral quandary whether to actually rescue her from that or not, as they've already been paid. So they could just let her die or whatever. Not, she won't die.
Thank loves moral quandaries.
I do. They're great.
That's
So
funny.
there are a lot of different ways you could go with that. Lots of different things. I mean, you could basically do anything. Maybe Maelstrom Gangers show up for no fucking reason at all. Just to wreak havoc. Or take her cybernetics. I don't know. It could be cool. Lots of stuff you can do.
Or Gang could show up because of a report that she posted recently. Happens.
It happens.
I
Yeah.
might try to abduct them.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the ones that are out of left field a lot. So. But yeah, let's get on to the next one. Which
This is me.
is you.
Yeah, this one features Team Monster and is called Rival Crews. And since we all know that missions rarely go as planned, when your crew accepts a posting from the Thelis Nation, which is, I probably mispronounced that, a nomad nation, to recover cargo from Raf and Shiv, they run into Team Monster. And how, because things can go one of two ways. They can go really, really well, or really, really poorly. And depending on you as the GM, how you introduce Team Monster, when you introduce Team Monster, can be that like moment of how your crew reacts to them. Because they could become allies, but then they have to split the payday. They could make enemies with Team Monster. Or they could just develop a friendly competition with this out there crew that's like, no, we've taken on the most dangerous mission this month, not you guys, which I think would be an hilarious turn of events. Where like Team Monster and your adjoining crew are just constantly trying to outdo each other on who did the most dangerous mission recently. And see where that goes. So, that's that one. Throw in some rival crews. You never know what'll happen.
Competition.
Always fun.
Competition. And that's it for the plot hooks that we chose to talk about today. There's plenty of others that you can take a look at. Mm-hmm. And there's some extra goodies in the DLC that Ada's going to let you know.
So, it comes with a couple of little things. There's an extra bozo NPC, which is also he's basically their med tech, which could be really useful and could be really terrible. And God, his backstory is really tragic. But you guys get to discover that on your own.
God, I'm picturing
There's
something
also-
like out of a Caravaggio painting or something with that guy.
There's also stat blocks for NPCs from the sourcebook's mission. The incident. Just a note, it is a spoiler, so beware, but they've been marked in the book as spoiler potential or incident potential, whatever. Along with that, you get some items. Sorry. Oh, the last item from the pin set, the Super Flash Jacket. If you want to glow super bright, like a star, you want one of those. There's also a ton of tokens for the NPCs found to help represent them in your games or use any NPC token. So you can't really have enough tokens for this kind of shit.
It's so true.
In addition to that, I wanted to make a mention that a lot, if not all, I don't know if all, but a lot of these NPCs in the Danger Gal Dossier are on Monster Fight Club for purchase. So you can buy the physical, actual, mini and, do your painting and that kind of thing, which is super cool. I've yet to get mine. Monster Fight Club, if you're listening. But they are coming soon, and I'm very excited for them.
But yeah. That concludes this episode of Night City Sofa. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Please let us know what you thought about this segment and any future things you might like to see discussed. You can leave a comment in the comment section of our YouTube video, one of our many social media platforms, or via our Discord. Night City Sofa will return on Thursday, September 7th to talk about the latest DLC that dropped, which is Corporate Conapps and Studio Apartments. To showcase this DLC, we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to ask you guys to submit your ideas for NPCs or shops or community spaces, amenities, whatever you can think of that might exist in these Conapps or people or things in these studio apartments. Since they all have their own little flavor and they're all very unique, what are some things that you would throw into that building to make the world a little bit more your own? And we'll read those on stream, credit you guys, and that's what we'll do to showcase that DLC. There will be a channel in our Discord to do that specifically. I will be up tomorrow, I promise. It's not up now. So stick to for that. If you haven't joined our Discord, please do so. There's a link in chat. I think there's a link. There's a quick link here on Twitch. If you go to About and you click the Discord button, you can get to it that way. And I think on our YouTube channel, there's a Discord if you're watching this.
Yes,
on YouTube.
there's a link on our Discord.
Cool.
Well.
So there you go, guys. Super easy to join our Discord. And podcast. Yes. So click links. Join our Discord and contribute because we'd like to share your ideas as well.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to talk about for the DLCs before I close it out completely?
I don't think so. It's a cool book. Pick it up.
Yeah. Lore is fun.
You pick it up at your local game shop. You can bits and mortar it to have the digital copy as well. So support your local game shop. And thank you guys, as always, for showing up. We appreciate you being here and good to chat. We'll see you next time.
You did like the outro. Until then, it's my show. I'm gonna take it. Until then, check out Shades of Scarlet, our Cyberpunk RED Night City game, which airs every Saturday here on Twitch at 10 p.m. Eastern, and Indie Bandits, which will return this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. Until next time, Tooms, stay frosty.